Hello, everybody, and welcome to Collegian Conversations, where members of the Collegian come around and we talk about something specific that's been on our minds. So today you have me, Alex Hoben, the photo editor with the Collegian.
Me, Ash Petrie, feature editor.
And me, TJ Favela, illustrator.
So today we are going to be talking about infrastructure with more of a focus on public transportation and highways and the whatnot. Not only how what TCC has in terms of public transportation and everything, but the Tarrant County as a whole, really, especially in regards to how we have fared on public transportation, as well as how public transportation is going to be affected by future events, maybe how you think it could be improved in the future, or just your general thoughts on it. So my thing is, I have been using public transportation since I was a young child. Texas is an inherently, you have to be able to drive, or you have to be able to cross large distances just because of how big it is. And I personally think that DFW, specifically Fort Worth, has one of the least efficient public transportation systems.
Isn't it that DFW is one of the largest metroplexes in the country without a functional or with one of the worst public transportation systems, if I remember correctly?
I believe let me check, but I believe Arlington is said to be the largest city in Texas, or just in general, without a functioning public transportation system. Let me double check that.
I think from a young age, I understood that driving was very important in this state. So carpooling was something I always did with my friends growing up. But I think now with traveling outside of the state and getting to see how not only other states, but even countries' public transportation functions, it's very frustrating to have to live in such a expansive metroplex without a viable, reliable, and just overall nice transportation system publicly.
Arlington, Texas does not have a mass public transportation system or transit system, but they have an on-demand ride service. So that's what Arlington has, doesn't it?
And what does on-demand ride service mean?
It's basically just Uber. It's called Via, and you would just get the Via app. And I've never used it personally, but I know people who have. You have?
I have, in fact, used Via. Back whenever I first came to TCC years ago, I did not have a car. I was kind of terrified of driving, and I would use the Via system to get from Southeast Campus, which is all the way down in Grand Prairie or Arlington area, all the way to get up here in Hearst. Southeast is closer to Mansfield. That because I went to Mansfield,
right.
MISD. And so, yeah, I would have to take a Via, and here's the kicker. Back whenever I took it, I don't know the specifics now, but when I took it, I couldn't get from Southeast all the way up to Northeast. I had to take a Via to a train station that was 12 minutes away from Northeast, and then wait 2 hours. So, again, it might be different now, but back whenever I started, and I spent many hours just kind of sitting in the sun and really contemplating the state of public transportation, because I also grew up using the DART. My mom uses the DART every day to get to and from her work from where my dad works. So I know how efficient and quick and easier it is to get around Dallas using the DART. But then I came here and I was like, oh yeah, I can just take the train. It'll be great. I can get to my classes and I might even have some time to relax. I did not. I was in the sun, which, sun is good, but not on a about 95-degree day on harsh metal benches alone.
Yeah, and you did make a comment about how DART works well in Dallas, but I think even the DART has so many issues.
Yes.
I believe the one time I ever experienced reliable and good, I guess, public transportation systems was when I was in Europe. And just being able to get on a ferry to a train to then a taxi, and it not being a complicated experience as you would assume it would have been. And I did it when I was 16, 17, and I was able to figure it out alone or even with the help of others. And And just knowing what I've had to experience in this state when trying to understand public transit and how confusing it is. And it seems like it's almost made that way to force you to drive, but maybe that's a conspiracy on my own end. I don't know, but yeah.
So that is an interesting topic that you bring it up because, yeah, like in Europe countries and in Asian countries, like their transit system is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like everyone's day to day. I'm like, and how long has Dallas had?
And how many railroads do we have that are not being used right now as well?
I mean, it's like you would think, it's like we don't even have that many people who really ride the trains. You would think you should be able to kind of get that under control.
The notion of no one uses public transportation is always going to be wrong.
Well, the thing is, like their stops are just so infrequent. They have limited stops.
Now, are we talking about Dallas or Fort Worth?
I think we're talking about mainly like Dallas.
Really?
That's what I think.
I've heard people in Dallas say, I offered one of my friends one time if I could, because I just recently moved next to the DART off of 360. I just kind of entertained the idea with one of my friends of me taking the DART and then them picking me up so I don't have to drive to Dallas during rush hour traffic when I would go see them. And they shut it down because they said, like, yeah, I could go drive to Oak Lawn and pick you up from the DART, but that would be an awful drive from where I live, and it would probably take me just as long to do that as it is for you to just get here. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's like why people don't take it, because it's just as complicated almost, it seems, to just drive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like it's too hard to use. That's why I don't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair. I guess.
Because, like, I would love to, because, like, trust me, I've tried finding excuses to use, like, the train, the bus, when I am in Dallas and North Fort Worth.
Because you go to a lot of conventions, right?
Yeah, I go to a lot of conventions that do actually use the train. It's just, like, it's just so inconvenient, and the stops are just so small. Like, I need to get to this part of Fort Worth, and for whatever reason, like, even, like, TR. Like, you can take the train to TR, but it's still a long walk.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I will say that's when your buses come into play. That's really when your buses come into play.
But the buses aren't consistent, and you can't rely on them. When I went to UNT, of course, this was now 10 years ago, so I could only hope that this has changed. Yeah. But I could only imagine that it hasn't. But they sold more parking tickets than they did parking spaces. Yeah, so I was, 18? And I had a job. I had to work nights, and I would get off maybe around 11 or midnight, and I would drive to where my dorm was, and all of the parking lots were full. Everything was full. I had to park across the highway at Apogee Stadium, and they told me to walk back or to take the bus back. But the bus ended at like 10.
Yeah.
So there was never a time that I wouldn't have to be expected to walk across a highway. Granted, they did build that bridge, but Denton isn't the safest place for an 18-year-old girl to be walking across a highway's bridge at midnight.
Yeah.
And when I brought that up to the ticket people, she just kind of very nonchalantly told me to find a different job when I had been working for the place that I had for almost a year at that point. And it was like, huh? Yeah. You expect me to just find a new job out of your inconvenience? You could just get these buses to run longer. You could, I don't know. But yeah,
sell the correct amount of tickets for people.
Yeah, I mean, oh, goodness gracious, you would think that would make more sense. But yeah, I mean, it's just, while these things are here and they are, available, the readiness and consistency of them isn't there.
That's really the thing, I think, because that was the same with me, the consistency of it. So whenever I was going between Southeast and Northeast, there would be some times when the bus driver, the way this played out was terrible. I would leave my class at about 11 a.m. and then I'd have another class at 2:30 p.m. here in the RTVB program. And so I would leave my first class at Southeast and I would get on the VIA. Sometimes the VIA would be 30 minutes to an hour just to get one. and I would have to get there. And then if I didn't make my train, I would have to wait another hour. And at that point, I've run out of hours. So that was the first hurdle. The second hurdle is if I got to my train, the VIA took me to my train in time for me to get onto it. Great, quick 15-minute train ride to the bus station. And then I would have to sit there for an hour or an hour and a half. But here's the thing. Sometimes there would be a bus there when I got there. And it was the bus to TCC. Sometimes that nice woman waited for me, but she shouldn't have to wait for me. I shouldn't be out there for an hour to an hour and 15. And the reason why I finally got a car, because again, I was terrified of driving when I was younger. The reason why I finally had to get a car was because I had an incident on the rails. I had an incident where my safety was put into question. And my dad was like, you can't take that anymore. You are getting a car. And the thing is, if anything would have been more efficient, and if it would have been on time, I wouldn't have been put into that situation.
Right.
So my question is, how, through all these public transportation options, through this inefficiency, through this wait time, through this inability to get anywhere correctly, how is this going to be affected when FIFA comes in a year? FIFA the World Cup is coming to Arlington, to the AT&T Stadium, which actually will have to be renamed soon because of FIFA's guidelines. Yes, it's in a kind of a battle between Dallas and Arlington right now. Who's going to name it? Because anyway, and there will be 9 matches spanning from June to July.
I don't even really want to think about that. I'm so disappointed.
Like,
Traffic's already bad enough.
I am fueled with excitement. I'm so excited. However, I'm not at the same time.
yes, excited in the terms of
so
like
excited for it to be here. I want to go. I want to see it. But
yes.
I don't think I'll be able to get there in time.
Yes. Like, here's the thing. I live, like I was talking about, I live next to Southeast. I take 360 every day to get here. I take 360 to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And so
The 360 split for 30 going to either Dallas or Fort Worth has been under construction for 4 years. You want to get to Six Flags? You're going to have to do a whole loop-de-loop roundabout backwards sideways thing.
I have lived here since I lived in Arlington in that little intersection of 30 and 360 since I was 5. I am 28 and it's been under construction since.
And that's my thing. You know what else is right next to that corridor? AT&T Cowboys Stadium, where FIFA will be held.
Yeah.
I have seen 360, just a normal game, a normal soccer game.
Football.
Well, football, soccer, any event.
Football.
I've seen any event for the AT&T Stadium. 360, I will be in Dallas. I will be sitting there in my car on 30 for hours.
Genuinely. Every time. It's not only just the Cowboy Stadium when they have something. The Rangers games. Whenever there's like something during October when they have Fright Fest at Six Flags. It turns into a parking lot. And then
Just rush hour traffic.
I have the time when I leave everywhere.
exactly.
Yeah, no. I used to... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, I tried my best not to leave the house between 2 and 6.
Yeah, genuinely. That's what you have to do. Like, even here, just on a normal day-to-day, I have to time when I leave, or else I know I would be spending more time in my traffic than it would take me to just wait 30 minutes. And just,
Whenever I lived in downtown Fort Worth, it was so bad. It was so bad having to get from there to here or from there to anywhere because I lived next to Cook Children's. And 30, I-35, 183, 121, 114, 360, all of them have something going on. But right now, while living in downtown Fort Worth, I experienced 3 times where my tires needed to either be worked on or replaced because of all of the construction. And one time I had a nail in my tire. Another time an entire just chunk of my tire went missing because of all of the stuff that was in the road. And that was on 121, having to go that way. And I wouldn't even take the toll because I knew that would be ridiculous. But depending on when I left, either my job or here, they would either shut down the entire highway and make you get on the toll, or they would shut down the toll and make everybody on the toll get on the highway, or they would just shut down both of them and expect everybody to go to the light.
That happened on 360 multiple times last semester, where I was stuck in traffic for like literally an hour once.
It's awful because because there's so many of us, right? Because we all rely on driving to get to where we need to go. When they do things like that, they, first of all, don't give you enough preparation. They put up a blinking sign the day of telling you, oh yeah, tonight, maybe they'll go this way.
Yeah.
And if you noticed it, great. If you didn't, well, now you and the thousands of other people are being forced to sit here and stand still traffic for probably 2 hours. Like, I've had it take that long for me to just get home. Why? The traffic, this construction that they just keep adding on to it, it seems like. And it's for tolls.
Yeah. Yes. It's for toll roads. Why?
2-lane toll roads that cost you $20 at some places.
At certain times as well.
Yeah, it changes. And if, like, I never take the toll because I remember in my, like, dumb childhood, I would take the toll just mindlessly, but then that bill would come and it's daunting to realize, like, oh my gosh, it was $20 every exit for 4 miles because of all of the traffic. And they'd rather work on these tolls so they can make more money from them rather than fixing the problem, which is our infrastructure.
But like even then, like you bring up like the 2-lane toll. I actually do take the toll because I just hate traffic, like normal traffic.
Brave man.
I know, and I do have a toll tag, which does save a little bit of cash. But I will say, I feel like I waste my cash whenever I do take the toll, and I'm just stuck in more traffic.
Yeah, you're still stuck in the traffic.
So not only am I stuck in traffic, I lost $20 the whole week. Like, bruh, come on. Like, I feel like the toll can be used properly, but I feel like what we're doing now is just not working.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's because it's an inherently for-profit model that puts the rest of us at a disadvantage. And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If it's a company that's working to maintain and everything, that's great. But at the same time, sliding rates, depending on how bad, you have to really decide how badly do you want to take this and how badly do you want to sit in more traffic.
It's almost like it's a classist system. Well, and Uber and Lyft are advertised everywhere along the highway billboards. And it's like, that's $40. It's cheaper for me to drive. Yeah, it's going to take 2 hours for me to get to downtown Dallas and go to the show that I want to go to. But, well, shoot, I'd rather do that than spend an additional $80 on top of whatever else I'm going to do.
Yeah. That whole model of everything in infrastructure being for profit rather than for the citizen is inherently wrong. It's called public transportation for a reason. It is supposed to be serving the public, and right now it doesn't feel like it. Or if there's any that's serving the public doesn't extend to over here or in Arlington, where you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people come for FIFA.
Right.
They're going to be everywhere. And I mean that literally, they're going to be everywhere.
I know people are talking about Airbnb or renting out their homes right now who live near there because of the profit that they can make.
Yeah, no, that would be great.
And just, 7 or 8 people who all decide to stay in some random, like, suburban home. I mean, like, it's good for the person, right? The person who lives in that home. But for everybody else in that neighborhood, that's going to create a bunch of traffic for them. And I don't mean this ugly, but I mean, they're there for an event. They're there to have fun. They're there to celebrate and enjoy their time. Whereas everybody else in that neighborhood,
they're just trying to get through life.
They live in Arlington and they're trying to go to work.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying they're going to be everywhere because there's not enough buses to take them. There's not enough trains. There's really no specific way for them to.
And it happens next year. Have they started anything?
I will be honest, I do not know. I haven't seen anything. All I've seen is more construction on 360.
And I've only seen ads.
Yes, I've seen ads. I've seen them saying like Dallas FIFA 2026. Like they're gonna come here. We'll be FIFA strong. And I'm sitting here like, how am I gonna get home?
I'm just more sitting here just terrified because like all the grocery stores are gonna be just out of everything. All the gas stations are probably gonna run out of gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, like, for me, yeah, no, wait, hold on here. You're right. Like, if all of these people are coming here, they're going to be renting cars, they're going to be staying in these, like, probably Airbnbs, because if there's anything America and Texas does better, it's Airbnb.
Right.
We're in the middle of a housing crisis, but
Sure are.
we've got so many Airbnbs for you to come stay in. Come on whenever.
Like 800 hotels everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to severely hurt, I think, the rest of us. I mean, it's going to severely hurt all of us unless there's something done that is going to, I mean, suffice for all the influx of people who are going to come here. I think it's ridiculous that nothing has been started or even discussed or even planned, because this, yeah, you know what? Actually, look that
I'll
up.
look that up. But here's the thing.
I haven't seen anything. And because I don't see anything, I drive to Southeast too. I take 30 to go places all the time. I drive by the AT&T Stadium all the time. And I haven't seen anything being done to prepare for the future influx of people who are going to be coming here, expecting like an infrastructure to hold what's about to happen.
All right. I have found something on Arlington City's website called Arlington City Council receives first update on 2026 FIFA World Cup preparations. This was published back on December 11th last year. I'm going to scan this.
You were going from train to via to bus, however. Yeah, you were mentioning how like the via can be late. And remember, this is supposed to be like a city service, right? This isn't like Uber where it's like they just get somebody off the street or, you know, whoever. Like anyone can drive people around. If you have a car, do a background check, you know, you can make some money with us. I'm assuming Via is owned or is run by Arlington.
I'd have to check that. I do believe it is maintained by the city. I don't know if it's a private company or not.
Okay, because for me, I've never taken it personally. And I know you said you have, but you bringing up your story, my wife's taken it, I think. And I know my sister and my sister-in-law have taken it. And every time they've mentioned it, the driver is always lost, late, or is just like, they just don't know where they're going. And for me, it's kind of like, I thought the reason why we were choosing Via over Uber and Lyft were because we wanted a more, I don't know, like streamlined service, you know, because wasn't this supposed to be their answer to the no buses or to the no trains? Like, oh, we'll have our own little service. It's going to be great. Like, we're going to we'll pick you up from your house and take you wherever. But it's like, they never know where they're going. It's always someone unprofessional. And then from what I understand, a lot of them get into accidents.
I have heard that. I personally have never had that happen to me. But yes, I have heard that some of them have gotten into accidents.
And then like the thing that always irks me, because I actually think this is more worse with Via than Uber and Lyft. Have you ever driven like in the streets and they just park wherever they want? Like I see their customers walk across the street in heavy traffic just to get to their Via because the Via didn't go in the right place.
I've had to do that.
That happened this morning. This happened on my way here. I was leaving my house. I was pulling out from, where was I? I think I was on like Pioneer and Center. And literally there's just a Via, like just in the middle of the street. Not in the middle of the street, but like on the right lane. But just like their guy was just in the middle of somewhere. And he's just like, he was on the other side of the street. And the Via's like, I'm over here. So I'm literally watching this guy cross the street with a Via just sitting there with their hazards on. Like, we're supposed to just go around this dude. Like, you're just going to cause more and more accidents.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would just assume that if you're being, you know, if your employer is the city of Arlington, I would expect a little more professionalism.
Yeah.
A little more safety. You know what I mean? Like, everybody I've heard never make it to their appointments. We are always lost.
Yes, genuinely. I once had a driver that took no highways. She only took the side roads. And I was, in fact, late for my train that day.
Which I'm like, can you not, like, train? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, can you train some of these guys or get more professional type drivers?
Bro.
Because if at that point I would have just taken an Uber.
Like, that's like the whole thing I have with drivers here is like, none of them know how to drive. Nobody here knows how to drive. I listen, I'm a really good driver. I know a lot of people say that, but I'm a very good driver. I let you merge. I go the speed limit, but I go the speed limit in the far right lane. And if I need to pick it up,
do you change lanes on a solid or a double line, or like the dotted lines?
Dotted. I will never switch lanes on a solid line. I double check.
I was just checking.
And when I'm driving, I pick myself up out of my seat to look around me before I do anything. But it's because I'm terrified of everyone around me. And I personally feel like I'd be mentally more stable if there was a proper transportation system, because I too, like you, Alex, get very anxious with driving, and it causes me a lot of, honestly, like mental, like, I don't know, what would the word be, but
anxiety?
It's, I mean, just, yeah, I guess all of that. Like, I plan my entire day around driving sometimes because I'm terrified of how I feel after driving and how it affects my day, because it makes me, I feel like sometimes a worse person throughout my day, more irritable, more aggressive, and just like unable to deal with the daily stress that we already get from existing. And so because of that, like I said, I plan my entire day around driving so I can prepare myself for whatever may happen. And it's like my friends now know that, so they text me when there's traffic.
Yeah. That's sweet, at least.
But it's nice, but it shouldn't have to be that way. Like I shouldn't plan my entire day around driving when it's really only a 15-minute drive that I should be taking.
Right.
Yeah.
On average, most people waste like 2 hours a day just sitting in their car.
That's me. Here's the thing. I am one of the rare cases, before I share facts.
Right.
I'm one of the rare cases where I was terrified of driving before, but now I'm an expert at it. You've been in the car with me.
I will say I do get scared, but it's because you're a little bit. Everyone I know is more aggressive in driving than I am. I'm a very passive driver.
Yeah.
So whenever I am in the car with people who tend to be more of the
agitator.
Maybe? I wouldn't even say agitator. It's just more that you're like, yeah, no, Alex, you're not an agitator, but you are going to treat others with the energy that their car gives you.
Well, that's the thing. I will say whenever I was learning to drive, my father taught me, of course, and he told me the number one rule in defensive driving is that everyone's out to get you.
Oh, yeah.
And so I drive with the knowledge that everyone's out to get me. And I will do everything in my power to make sure I am as locked in as possible.
No, same. And this is something that differs between me and my wife, is that when I drive, I'm very passive. Like, I don't honk my horn. I mean, though, like, there are times where I should. I just don't, because for me, I'm trying. The last thing on my mind is to honk my horn. The first thing that's in my mind is I'm trying to avoid you. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure I'm safe. But, and, you know, a lot of times when someone cuts me off, my mindset is like, I'm just trying to get home. I'm not trying to cause a scene.
Yeah.
If this person wants to drive crazy, that's fine. But for whatever reason, my wife was like, why don't you honk the horn? Why don't you, scream or something? And it's like, I'm not trying to get hurt.
That's exactly how I feel.
See, like for me, I will drive 50 in the right lane and wait until I feel safe enough to pass and get into the left lane.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching as each person is coming up on my left who's going way too fast. Yeah. And I know that my car she can't pick it up. She can't. And I'm not going to force her to.
Yeah.
But and I just know you are someone who says, I'm putting that blinker on and I'm going.
Yep.
I'm squeezing in.
I will say.
I can't do that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think it's because when I first started driving, coming back to that whole highway discussion, I live where they decided to put a toll road that connects to 360.
That's right.
Yes, in that area near New York and everything.
Yeah.
I remember being like, I don't like the fact that they're building another highway. That it was being built whenever I was going to like middle school and high school, and that ruined my way of getting around. And now there's just a toll road, a giant bright white toll road next to my neighborhood that I have to use to get anywhere efficiently. Are you joking me? They had to tear down so many fields, my childhood fields, for this giant bright white thing that I have to pay for just to get in and out of my neighborhood.
The amount of like land that is just being destroyed and just torn down for parking lots and highways
and apartments.
And well, I mean, that is going to happen no matter what,
No,
right?
I know,
but
it's they're popping up every.
Yeah, there's a new one being built right next to my neighborhood again. There have been 3 new complexes built within the last 10 years.
I live really close to DFW Airport, and they have right off of the 360 highway done a lot more construction and tearing down those just like ever expansive fields. And ever since that started to happen, there have been more, interestingly enough, wolves that have been appearing in neighborhoods, which that's a whole science thing that apparently biologists were like, what? Why are there wolves in Texas?
But got rid of their ecosystem.
Well, wolves and coyotes. Wolves aren't normally here.
Yeah, that's true.
But I guess, somebody probably bought a wolf and was like, I'm going to let it go. I can't take care of this wolf no more. Either way, it doesn't matter. But they're appearing in the parks and neighborhoods. And then they're like, we're Texas. So people are just murdering them. And it's so sad because these are just these natural areas that I grew up roaming around and enjoying. And there's like little secret spots that I remember that are just now parking lots.
Completely gone.
And they're building a gas station in my favorite neighborhood. They are tearing down a corner of this like beautiful park in Bear Creek for a gas station when there is one, not even a block. There are 7 within a block of where they're building that one. And it's just, if we had a reliable source of transportation, these things wouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have parks being torn down. We wouldn't have populations of species being eradicated from the state because of a highway. And now with FIFA, because we don't have anything established, do we?
From my preliminary research, the only thing that was in that report that was, again, given in December 11th said, the only thing that came up when I said the Arlington public transportation in regards to FIFA, the only thing that came up was a single bullet point on that update that says, participation with North Central Texas Council of Governments and regional stakeholders to develop a transportation plan that includes a circulating shuttle service from the Centerport TRE train station, which was the train station I took to get here to Northeast, in Fort Worth, to AT&T Stadium. A shuttle system?
A shuttle system?
A single shuttle system.
You said shuttle? Shuttle, not shuttles?
Circulating. It's just.
Oh, so it's going to go back and forth?
Yes. Circulating.
In all the traffic that we have?
Yeah, and it's going to go to
From Fort Worth?
Centerport Station, that's one that's right off of 360. Circulating shuttle system instead of, buses, maybe increased buses. I guess this is technically a bus system, but how big are those shuttles? How many people can fit in those shuttles? How efficient are the trains? Are you going to increase their numbers? Because again, I went to that station. They were there every, I think, 45 to 30 to 45 minutes or an hour.
Because they're having to get through all the traffic too.
Exactly.
And, oh man.
Oh, also, just to, for clarification as well, VIA is a privately owned company. It is not.
It's not
Arlington City based. I'll be honest, I don't know if there's been meetings about FIFA 2026 and how it's going to affect public transportation. From that one press release, it says that they do meet monthly, but is that enough?
You can meet. That's great. I'm loving that you're meeting. What are you doing?
Yeah, what can you tell the public other than there will be a circulating shuttle system? Will a circulating shuttle, that shuttle better be bigger than the Star Trek shuttles.
That's quadruple decker.
Genuinely. Like, I want to see 2 British red buses put on top of each other and driving around Six Flags. Make it its own ride. Like,
Yeah, bring back Mr. Six, you know?
ooh.
That'd be fun. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think to wrap us up here, I think no matter what, we're coming at this from the perspective of 3 concerned Grand Prairie, Arlington, Fort Worth residents who are excited for FIFA to come to Fort Worth, but also know how terrible this is going to affect our public transportation,
Our daily commutes.
our infrastructure, because not only is it going to affect like transportation or anything, TJ, you were mentioning, how is it going to affect our local economy? And here's the thing, the people who are the most excited about this is, of course, like city managers and like everyone who profits off of this. And they are not thinking of how it's going to affect the individual. They're thinking of how it's going to be great and a moneymaker for those coming in. And so that's why I think we haven't heard anything. That's why I think that while we do know that there's a circulating shuttle system, there's not been any more like overt changes because they don't care that we are going to be affected, because at the bottom line, they're going to see Texas economy skyrocket in this local area.
To make Arlington what, like the new Dallas or something?
Grand Prairie, Arlington. They're trying to very much so bring it up with DFW. And again, great. But have you considered that the people who live here are going to be heavily affected by that, and affected to the point of they're going to think, was it really worth it for us to try so hard to bring FIFA here? Yes. Would I be able to maybe go to the games? Sure. But will I still be able to go to my job the next day
On time.
Yeah, people are going to have to leave their house like an hour more than they usually would.
My daily plans are going to get so stressful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If you leave the house at 7, you're leaving the house at 6 now.
yeah.
Probably 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
all of
And then who knows when you're going to get home?
yeah.
Well,
All
that's
of-
for tomorrow.
Yeah.
that's for tomorrow.
Actually, you'll get home tomorrow.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. All of this to say that FIFA coming to Dallas
Woo.
is very exciting.
I'm excited.
But for the common man or the resident who has to take things like toll roads or public transportation.
Give me a toll discount
There is
during
one.
FIFA.
Oh,
Like, don't make me pay for it.
that would be fun.
If your license plate says Texas on it, you don't have to pay for the toll.
And that's, that's implying that people will be, I guess people can drive here from it. Either way,
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. You don't have to.
I mean, we're going to get people from Oklahoma, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
yes. And
I
again,
think people from Louisiana are going to travel here to watch FIFA.
I think so.
Yeah, you never know.
Okay.
You never know.
Colorado.
I mean, how often does FIFA really get to be so close to start?
And here's the thing. If I remember correctly.
We're going to have people coming from all over.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Like I don't
different
think they
countries.
realize.
Yeah, Mexico, Canada. Yeah, they're all going to come down here.
I mean, because it goes from Mexico to here to then Canada.
Yeah.
So it's making a three stop journey, and so that's beneficial, I guess, for Canadians and Mexicans because they can all just go there. But for us, that is this entire country and more coming to Texas. We have everybody from the States coming here who enjoy soccer, who don't get to, be treated or get to like see these things without having to travel to other countries, right? Like people from all over the world travel all over the world for FIFA.
Yeah.
This is big for the States.
Yeah, because like FIFA is like usually like I think one of the last ones was in Rio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which not a lot of people can afford or even.
We're
really-
Americans. We're working daily to save our fucking lives. We're working daily to save our lives. So
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'll be real. If I really like soccer or football, however you want to say it.
So we actually have, if I remember correctly, if I might be wrong here, but we have the most matches in one stadium for the whole FIFA. None of them are the final, so maybe that's our caveat, but that is what is coming. And in general, Tarrant County's public transportation system, it sounds like, has really not served each of us in its best capacities. And it is very terrifying to think about a system that can't even serve 3 people consistently, how that's going to hold up under the weight of so many people coming. And
World Cup.
the World Cup. And not only that, if you think about it, Arlington, like we said, is a city without a bus system or without a train system. They only have rideshare services that are glitchy at best. So the question is, how is the county, how are the tri-counties going to prepare for this? Because everything that I've looked up has been talking about the economic impact, not the social impact. So yeah, that's really some things to think about going forward. And remember, TCC actually has rideshare services as well. And with your TCC ID, you can get free transportation on the TRE and bus system, and use it while it's not packed up. Give it a year.
Good luck.
Yeah. As always, with that very high note to leave off on, my name is Alex Hoben. I'm the photo editor with the Collegian.
Ash Petrie.
TJ Favela.
And we will see you in the next issue. I hope you have a great day and
Drive safely.
drive safely. Bye.
Toodaloo.
Bye.